I'm living alone in the jungle. Living alone, I'm living alone in the jungle. I'm living alone in the jungle. Snake and lion hard to humble. I'm living alone, I'm living alone in the jungle. Tell me mother, tell me papa, one of my brother and tell me sister. I'm living alone, I'm living alone in the jungle. Monday morning when I travel in a God, me little life I gambling. I'm living alone, I'm living alone in the jungle. I'm living alone in the jungle. Snake and lion hard to humble. I'm living alone, I'm living alone in the jungle. I'm living alone Monday morning. I'm living alone in the evening. I'm living alone, I'm living alone in the jungle. I'm living alone, Sayawanga. Take your time and sing my calendar.
What does it mean for a young man, not even a young man really, 27, 28 years old? You think you've been through most of your experiences as a young person already. You're now going into, the middle age of your youth. Soon you'll have a family and stuff like that. And here you are, standing up in the middle of a guy, having toured with a band with the likes of Sherwin Winchester and Traffic, having worked with oil companies, having gone to university, having done all of that, to end up in the middle of a guile which has a perception of decent folk, so to speak. And if you had asked me if I would be in a guile around when I was 20 years old, 25 years old, I'd tell you no.
And making sure not telling your mother or any of your family that you was playing stick.
Because I don't think any of them, they'll find out this interview.
This over maybe 2,000-year-old art, handed down generation by generation to ensure the survival and protection of the village. And I started training with some, to me, the greatest living martial artists I have met, who understand tactics, strategy, doctrine, improvised weapons, weaponized combat, blade, stick, bottle. Because in the regions where there's stick, bottle is an art. Their understanding of application of the martial tradition, of development of the human being is truly amazing.
No Bois Man afraid, no stick man, no Bois Man afraid, no demon. No Bois Man afraid, no Bois Man, no Bois Man afraid, no stick man. Bah!
The journey began for us 10 years ago. Just finished secondary school, went straight into the work world. Started off in the oil field, and that's where I met Benji. It would be a year and a half until I would meet him again. But in that time frame, I started competing in a lot of martial art competitions. Entered the Pan Am Games, represented Trinidad and Tobago, and won gold and silver. After that, I went into the university, and that's where Benji and I met up again. Started training with some of the coolest martial arts stuff that I ever, encountered before. One of those things was the Russian martial art. And to me, that provided the foundation and the preparation to enter into the rough and tumble world of calendar.
We play with tide, we play with tide, my arrow. We play with tide, we play with tide, my arrow. We play with tide, my arrow. Coconut on the beach, my arrow. We play with tide, we play with tide, my arrow. We play with tide, my arrow. Coconut on the beach, my arrow. We play with tide, we play
this day, I honestly believe that I'm a born warrior. Why? I'm not sure. But every kick-up movie that ever crossed the screens I saw, I was on every wall, small log. I even tried to do kung fu on top of my mother's bird bath to show how great my balance was. The company that I worked for felt it fit to send me to all the dangerous countries, Colombia, Venezuela, Mexico. People I work with again robbed, kidnapped, hijacked, and I'm not feeling safe. So I then left the martial art realm, having done judo, karate, kendo, the whole gamut of Japanese martial arts. And I started traveling in the United States, looking for something that could ensure my survival in case the worst happened. And while researching Japan, China, Africa, it dawned upon me that, wait a minute, Trinidad does have its own martial art, I think it's a concrete martial tradition. And I made an intuitive leap. I felt that for it to have survived so long and still be used in its original context, where fights were stopped, when blood was drawn, it would have to be a little more organized than it looks. It couldn't be just this arbitrary collection of drunk men hitting each other with sticks.
Right now, going through the companies, and it's an interesting story with these companies. The company basically is the name of these areas. It's interesting how these names were derived because in 1812, the African soldiers were fighting for the crown in the American War. Settled here in 1815 because they were promised lands. And these places that they settled essentially were named after the different regiments or companies in which they were placed in the army. So that's why I have 5th Company, 6th Company. So a lot of our teachers, Uncle Barra, these people were basically American as they are called, these descendants of these African soldiers who came to Trinidad in this particular spot. So today, we're going to be visiting a couple of the masters, the fathers of the Bois, we call them. Having to meet them is important. And having to be, being in their company and being trained by them is particularly important for us. So we started our journey today by meeting Uncle Barra, Congo Barra as he is called. He's somebody that we have to talk to, we have to meet because he's our eldest, or the eldest of our teachers. We look to him for a lot of our spiritual, a lot of our psychological, and even the physical guidance into calendar. He has been around a lot. He's a champion in the ring. He's somebody not to be messed with. He's a very serious person, and he basically provides for us the code or the ethos for which we follow as what a stick man is really about.
Anansia, they're making a plan to kill you. They're making a plan to kill you. All them Bois Man want to stop you.
Anancio, they're making a plan to kill you.
They're making a plan to kill you. Who were tumbe bad tumbe man.
So here we are on the south coast of Trinidad. This is Moruga. And one of the most amazing moments in my life was finding out that my family was from Moruga. 6th Company to be exact. And of American blood. What's amazing about that is it directly connects us to the warrior tradition that produced some of the most amazing warriors in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. And it actually provided us with a moment of serendipity, a solution to a problem we were having that we just couldn't figure out. How do you balance the warrior and the singer? Because Keegan, as a struggling musician, was trying to find ways to harmonize the two. And we recognize that in the history of the calendar, this mystical warrior who was both performer and martial artist existed.
Philogene rive, all your me teddy me. Sing me teddy by Congo Barra. Chana to put in the barra, Philo. Rive, all your me teddy by Congo. What next?
What made you get into stick?
No, well, I learned this from small. Since my uncle, my uncle, and them used to play stick. And I learned this stick from small since I had 10 years. When we come from school on evening, we uncle them sit down right by the cemetery there, out the road there. And they teach you to play this game. But I could have played this game all the time, but I never played until Sanka lost the eye, which is my big brother sign. When he lost the eye, then I step into the game. Really didn't like it as a hobby, as other people follow it up. But then when it reached the worst, and I see where some advantage taken, I said, now I'm going out, I have to go out there. I had to go out there and seek some revenge, seek my brother revenge. And I went out there and I did it all.
So what make you carry on after you bust the man eye? Because you still went on, you still continue.
After I bust the eye, we went to Manzalena a Sunday evening. And my brother with the one eye jump in the rings. Indian drum, brother, lick him down. I dance out there in the rings. I said, who's the king here? Who's the king? They say King Gerald, a tall Negro fella. I said, how much you cut he? The owner of the bar say, $300 and 3 bottles of Buchanan's. He inside there drinking about never punching. I went and I buy one drink of whiskey, he was. And I drink it, the man tell me, I say, he's the king here. I said, I come to cut you, I come to play you. He said, take a drink. I said, I don't want. Drink keep punching. I said, come outside. I walk outside and I went in the guy and I stand up. I had a stick. The whole stick tape in black. I tell my wife another stick there. And I wait when as he reached in the guy, I walk right down on that man. And I hit that man a stick here, so and bust it for it from here to here. This time they don't look down my brother, you know. My brother they in a car, they like, you know. I bust it for it from here to here. You see in white and no blood. I will still call that revenge because my brother don't lie down there. I take a revenge for him. It don't make no sense. I say it's not a revenge. It's a revenge I seek. It's a revenge I seek.
Monday, when you're traveling, don't get late to like you're gambling.
So at this point, our research into calendar started to deepen. We went to the National Library and had a look at some transcripts done in 1889. And that led us on to the work of Dr. Gordon Rollier, who was a professor of literature at the University of West Indies. His work was specifically how kalinda and the lavways, the music that's sung during the chants that are sung during the game, how they were impacting the formation of calypso and soca, two of our national music forms. We also realized that there was a lot of interconnection between the classic carnival figures during our national mass celebration, Neck Jardine, Midnight Rubber, and the Perrot. This actually began to excite us because we recognized that the tradition was deeper, wider, and far older than we thought. That led to a call where we connected directly with Dr. Rollier and we asked, Doc, is there any way or any research that you know of specific to the martial part of the calendar tradition? And he indicated to me at that moment clearly, he said, son, this has never been done before, but go get it. This is something that you can do.
Tell them why I'm at so Cali train me, why I'm at so Cali train me, why I'm at so Cali train me, why I'm at so Cali train me. Tell them why I'm at so Cali train me, why I'm
Cali, I remember the first time I ever see her down in San Fernando Wharf, King's Wharf.
King's Wharf.
That's the first time I ever see her. Right. And when I see that, that's when I realized I wanted to learn Boana. And 5 years later, I end up bouncing up. As you told me before, the stick thing is a killer. You know what I mean? And no matter how much I try, you know, to get my head around that, sometimes it will be difficult.
To get the killer instinct.
Yeah, and what the first time I went in the ring, before I couldn't sleep for about a month, every single night. I don't know if anybody could ever understand what it feels like to not be able to sleep for over 28 to 30 days straight. Because you know you had that fear of going into this killer game where everybody coming at you hard, strong, to bust your head, open your skull.
To kill you.
To kill you. You see, I didn't even say it. I'm saying everything else but that. How it does get in that zone to prepare for that?
Well, here's going that zone. I just put it like this. Like I go into war, I leave my family home. I leave them home, I leave them crying because they need things. And I the father giver, and I go into war and I do sure to come back. So what is prepare my mind real strong? I go into war and I go into win. I go into win. Don't matter how big and tall the man is, how powerful, what, how it could be the reigning king, whatever it is. I go in for him because stick fight the first thing you have to learn to do is to break stick. And once you could break stick, you don't fear and nobody. The person, the stick man who come in to fight you, he come in with the mind to kill you. He come in saying, I'm going and I'm going to play kick and I'm going to mash him up here, bust up his face. And he come in. So you on the other side now. You say, you see, I'm going to mash him. He wanna kill me and bury me. I want to kill him, bury him, dig him up, bury him again, kill him, bury him up again, 10,000 times. You know? So the mind will be strong. You have to have a strong mind, no matter what it is.
They put me alone, they put me alone in Carrera, they put me alone in Carrera, they put me alone in Carrera.
They put me alone, they put me alone, Carrera.
They put me alone, they put me alone in Carrera.
They put me alone, they put me alone, Carrera.
They put me alone on the border wing.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
All them years you was in Carrera, you miss it?
Yeah, I miss it a lot. It was a lot of stress out for me coming for carnival.
Especially when it's like you used to hear the drum someone over there.
Yeah, well, you know, I'll tell you something. Stick is like this. You see where I custom with stick for carnival. I custom with stick, and I been locked away. When that hour reach, it just come now. So when it come to you now, you start to put it out. So that's why I was go by the superintendent and make a request, and he has granted me the request. So we just beat buckets. And we just wrap, it has some hardboard, we just bring fish and thing, cardboard. We just tape it up and thing. And we just run a session every carnival. That was my
Your joy.
That was my joy for the carnival. I'll tell somebody drum. The drum is a serious thing. You see, the drum so brutal, it's so brutal that you will run through a concrete wall with steel in it. Tap steel barriers.
Yeah.
And when that drum take you, and you according to the songs, it has certain sticks have certain songs. That's why if